has a bad tendency to smell with it being so old. My girlfriend got me one that smells like fresh baked sugar cookies.
Oh.
And it is the best thing I've ever found in my entire life.
Nice.
My room smells so fucking good right now. Oh, language. What's your take? Yes or no? Yay, nay?
Well, I try not to drop the F-bomb.
Yeah, I'll tone it down some. That's fine.
I mean, I try not to. I have used a couple here and there. I don't know, your basic shit ass damn whatever, but anyway.
Yeah. Quick test. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Nothing.
If you couldn't hear anything I just said, then we're good because I wanted to make sure my mic is muting properly.
Oh, how about that?
For some reason in Discord, I can hit the mute button, and it won't actually mute me. It'll just keep picking up sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really weird, which is one of the reasons why I had to go to push to talk because my coughing got pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. I use push to talk on that. I don't mute on here, although I should, because I was listening to the Geeks of Azeroth episode. You could hear me hit my vape every time I did in the background. Yeah, exactly. Sounded like I was fucking toking on a bong or something. Oh, man. All right. Okay, we're already broadcasting a little bit of pre-show.
Fun times. So
yeah,
we may get a...
I don't get a... Go ahead.
I'm going to say we may get an influx of people. I let my latest class at work know about this, so we may get a couple of them show up.
Well, so far, I haven't had a whole lot of live interaction. A couple people pop in and say things here and there. Sorry, Batty logged into or commented on my Instagram for The Witcher. So I finally bought that today. Was $30 for the Game of the Year edition. Came with both expansions. So pretty cool.
Not bad at all. I may have to look into that. Because I have the first two, I just don't have that one.
All right. 7:30 on the dot. Let me get a little bit of silence for a few seconds to where I can do my
try to
stuff later.
Bring up the show notes. That might be important.
All right, here we go. Good Sunday evening, my fellow gaming brothers and sisters. I'm always messing around with this music, trying to get it turned down to the right volume. It is Sunday, December 25th, 2016. I'm live from Tampa, Florida. Myself, of course, I have a special guest today. And oh man, those horns. Let me see if I can. No, I can barely get that to turn down. Anyway, special guest with me today, Graveon, I like to call him, the Gravy Train. He's a guy I've been raiding with the last 2.5 years, since the beginning of Warlords of Draenor, minus a little break. So yeah, Gravy Train, welcome to Grown Up Gaming. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me, Mike. I've been playing World of Warcraft for off and on for like the last, I guess, 12 years. I mean, I started in vanilla and then took a rather large break until Cataclysm, where I had some friends of mine send me a scroll of Resurrection, say, hey, come play with us, get back in the game. And until I really joined up with Ludicrous Speed, I was very much off and on. I'd play a couple months here and there, and I'd stop, come back. When I found the guild to raid with and actually got into that, I really, really enjoyed myself and have stuck around ever since. Outside of that, I used to be the host of a podcast called Hunting with Friends, which was a Monster Hunter podcast. We did, for a long time, we were the only English podcast that did shows about Monster Hunter Frontier, which is a Japanese, how do I phrase it? It's a Japanese MMO.
Okay.
So that was a good amount of fun. Like 3 seasons of that or something like that. It was a good time, but it just we started to kind of drift apart as a crew. So
sure,
we called it quits.
See, that'll happen. And I think that's one of the reasons I've been so slow to get a co-host, because I was like, man, what if I'm too lazy to coordinate shit with them all the time? You know. Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
It's all good. That happens. That definitely happens. we started off really really regimented, and then just over time, because we were like, we'll do an episode here or there, or life came up and things happen. But overall, I play a lot of different games. WoW is a big one right now because Legion has just so much to do.
Man.
Yeah. Recently, I did move from Ludicrous Speed to a new guild called Acropolis. We're currently recruiting for Mythic. We're a couple people off. We've been trialing some people, and I have a story to tell about how bad people can be later.
Oh, I know how bad people can be. I used to be one of those baddies back in the day.
Oh, it was horrible. it was bad, but yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I like to game a lot. And that was supposed to be an statement. Obviously, it didn't sound like it.
Oh, sorry about that. As you can tell,
good. No.
As we can tell, we haven't ever hosted before, so together. So maybe some awkward pauses, but it's okay. So now that he slid his recruitment post in there, we're Ludicrous Speed's our guild. We're still currently recruiting. I've actually got a couple people that are coming on Wednesday. A priest couple, husband and wife team. They're going to come and play with us. So. I'm not sure I want to be overloaded on priest, but you never know. Could be a good thing. So today's Christmas. For those who celebrate, I mean, there's holidays all over the world that people are celebrating today. How was your Christmas?
It was pretty good. I had a good time so far. I've got another Christmas with my mother's side of the family coming up probably in a few weeks. I'm not entirely sure. Depends on when I can get down to see them. Some good gifts. Got some. I mentioned before in the pre-show, I got a nice candle that I really enjoyed. My girlfriend's uncle got me the new Pokemon game, so I'll probably be delving into that off and on for the next few weeks.
Nice.
And I got a nice pair of slippers.
I've not really got, me and Pokemon, maybe I'm a generation behind or ahead or whatever it is, because Pokemon wasn't a thing when I was coming up. So I tried the Pokemon Go when it came out, and after about a month, to me, it got old, and now everybody's still playing. Well, a lot of people are still playing that, and then the Sun, Moon. I don't know which one's new or if they're both new.
They're both new.
Yeah, that seems to be the big craze. Coincidentally speaking, though, on that, my work just became an exclusive partner with Niantic for Pokemon Go. So now all of our stores are Pokestops, which is it's kind of cool. It's supposed to drive traffic. So far, we haven't gotten anybody. I mean, this has gone for about a week and a half now, and so far we haven't gotten a single person that said, "Hey, I heard you were a Pokestop," or "I see you're a Pokestop." So maybe we're behind the curve on that. I don't know, but
maybe.
Yeah, Christmas was good here. I mean, everybody got what they wanted. Spent just a shit ton of money on people this year. Normally I don't. I'm a little more frugal, but I wanted to make sure we had gifts that lasted. Did my first PC build I was pretty nervous about, so my son was able to log in today, start playing some games without the lag of a potato computer that he's been playing on, so that was kind of fun. Yeah, good times. So week in gaming, we're going to move right into that without any segues. I need some sounders, some sound bumpers or something to come in here. So I had it in here that I was going to go first, but I feel like I've talked now for the last few minutes, so tell me about your week in rating, or in gaming, rather.
So I'll kind of preface something you're probably going to say is that I, in 2 different groups, wiped at 1% on Heroic Helia this week.
No.
This is almost the exact same amount of HP, too, because for some reason people can't understand that you need to run the orbs in Phase 3 straight back instead of up the stairs like in Phase 1. And that is very frustrating when, because in Acropolis, we're stacking the range pretty close to the melee on that, so we can keep the space as free as possible of the ooze. But people are still like, people keep standing in the wrong spots instead of stacking up, and then they run the orbs around to the stairs like they just didn't listen. And it's not like we didn't tell them this 9, 10, 27 times. They cut the melee off, which makes it hard for us to run our orbs back, and it's not fun.
Pain in the ass. So you guys are at 1% as well?
Yes, we are at 1% as well. We were missing one of our best healers and our mage. So some of the people we had pulled in for that were pugs. So we did have that, I guess. So hopefully we'll down it this coming week.
Yeah, us too. When are your raid nights?
We actually raid kind of opposite of Ludicrous Speed. So LS raids on Mondays and Wednesdays. We raid on Tuesdays and Thursdays, although a good bit later in the night.
Okay, so you're going to get in there on Tuesday, and then we're not going to get in until Wednesday.
Yeah. As for like times, so we raid from from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern time.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough for some of our people. There's a lot of
Wow.
West Coasters there.
Yeah. My goodness. I don't. There's no way. I lived out west, and it was nice there because Ludicrous Speed's schedule from 9 to 12 Eastern at the time was 6 to 9 my time. So I still had time after raid to do whatever shit I needed to do. So anything else in gaming? Just WoW? Anything else going on this week?
Um, I have spent an inordinate amount of time in Path of Exile this week.
How's
The
that?
new Breach League has been very fun. So PoE is an action RPG if you haven't played it before, free to play on Steam. And the way it works is much like Diablo. But every couple of months they have a new league. In this league, there's these things called breaches. You activate them, it opens an expanding zone that has these powerful monsters in it and drop splinters that you can, when you get enough of them, you can create a stone that will allow you to fight a powerful boss. So the idea is you're farming up stuff. And I'm playing a build I haven't really played before, using Flame Blast, which is a channeled ability that scales in size as you the longer you cast it. So that's been a good amount of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. I wish I had more time to spend in different games, and I've mentioned that in the past. I mean, I just stay so busy with everything that it's tough to. I got to maintain my character and WoW, much less do something else. And I'm playing an alt fairly regularly. I don't know how I'm managing to do that, to be honest with you, but he's nowhere near as geared or as skilled. I don't know, or as experienced as my main. But yeah, my week similar. We only had one raid night due to the holidays, and that was Wednesday. And yeah, so earlier or later we got it in the notes, but so Monday night we got in and we wiped on Heroic Hellia at 18%, which was to me is a big victory. That was pre-nerf. Tuesday comes around. Supposedly things are nerfed a little bit. 1%. I think it was like 360,000 HP. So that was kind of a heartbreak. But yeah, what a bitch of a fight, man. If you don't have that phase 3 coordinated and everybody executing like they're supposed to, exactly like it's, quote, scripted or whatnot, or at least improvising in a way that benefits everyone, it's just a mess. I like it because it has a lot better feel than Heroic Xavius did when we got him down. I felt like that fight was like, really? This is the last boss? This is it for Emerald Nightmare? And I'm sure we could feel the same way for the Mythic folks who got him down in 18 hours. Nightbane. I got that this week. So it was my second time running the Nightbane run. The week before, I did it with a coordinated group. That was fun. I was able to communicate with everybody pretty well. And then this week, I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to pug it, see what happens. It's not going to hurt anything anyway. And these were some experienced folks. A couple of them are still looking for the mount, but I got it to drop for me. So pretty excited about that.
Mounts of choice for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen you with it already too. So
yeah, I've got everything I need from the instance now. I don't have a whole lot of desire to run except for helping other people get the mount.
Does the gear inside of Karazhan, does it have a chance to prop like Heroic or Warforged, Titan Forged, all that?
So it does. Most of the gear in there for me is not very good. I have a ring from Vizdoom that's really strong, but the actual effect that makes it powerful doesn't scale with item level. And then the other thing I need is the Ethereal Urn that drops from Nightbane. It's a Mastery Strength stat stick trinket, but I've got an 885 one of those, so I'm not really expecting it to Titan Forge much higher.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at that. There's some pretty top parsing bear druids out there that are using the urn. And
really strong.
I'm looking at it. It's like, yeah, the stats are strong, but the on-use effect, it doesn't. Maybe on dragons, I forgot which one does the fear, but there's one that has a fear every now and then that goes off. But I can't see it.
I think, but I don't know.
Yeah, I it's just not useful to me. I think there's a lot better trinkets out there. I don't like Karazhan all that much. I mean, like I said that last week, it's pretty in there. It's good artwork, but I'm not really a big fan of the whole thing.
That trinket, you don't really want it for the on-use effect. Like for me, like it's like my top 3 best in slot trinkets, and that on-use effect shares a cooldown with an ability that I have that has a third of the cooldown. So like it's literally useless for me as an on-use, but it just gives so much mastery and so much strength that it's well better than most of the things that I have.
What Man, we've been talking on the show for like 12 minutes already, and you haven't even mentioned your class yet. I'm pretty let down.
I know people.
What is
we should.
this?
I should probably
What
explain
class do you
myself.
play? I know you're dying. You're busting at the seams. Tell me what class you play, Gravy.
So, as a joke amongst everyone, I play a warrior, and I talk about warriors with with people who don't care more often than anyone else in ludicrous speed.
I love it. You know, if you were just some rando, there's no way I could listen to you go on and on and on about warriors. It'd be like, what the F is this guy going on about? But because it's you, that's your niche. Yeah.
I'm very passionate about warriors. While I'm not the best warrior in the world, I do pride myself in having a very extensive theoretical knowledge of the class, at least to most degrees. And I will say we're in a pretty good place right now. I think we're in a really good place in terms of single target damage, and I'm okay with not doing good sustained AoE. Still waiting on some of the classes that should be beating me on the meters to actually do so. Assassination rogues, fire mages, hunters. Still not seeing it.
Still not seeing. Oh man, no that. But Wednesday,
except for snow on Wednesday, where the procs went off for days.
Jeez, that fight. One of our buddies, we call him Snow. That's not his name in game, but he had a 644k parse going on. Hell yeah, on that wipe, and you could in his voice, you could just hear the salt just building up on the wipe because he's like, no, that'll never happen again. He was so heartbroken.
Those pulls where like you get. Like for me, the way warriors work, for anyone who doesn't know, we're based on a series of resets on Colossus Smash called Tactician Procs. And it's always the pull that you get like proc after proc after proc after proc that lets you just wail into the boss that you wipe on. And you get on the pull you kill them on, you get like no procs ever, and you're like scrambling to try to let execute pull you back up to the top of the meters. And
yeah. Oh, I know that feeling though when you get those procs. It's like the biggest nerd boner ever. When I played Boomkin in Mists of Pandaria, that was the time to play Boomkin, man, because you were waiting on Star Surge procs, and I've got some videos sometimes that I'll watch, and this is extra nerdy. I'll go watch some of my own kill videos where I knew I had a lot of procs just to watch that shit go off, because it's like, oh yeah, give it to me. Give me those Star Surge procs. Anyway, what else have I been up to? Yeah, okay. Anyway, I got Donut Glazer in here, but anyway, I don't know. Yeah, we got somebody in the chat. I don't know what they're saying. I don't like getting distracted by it. Normally I keep it minimized, but I'm not tonight. Overwatch. I played a little bit of Overwatch this week. For those who know, I don't play a whole lot of it, but I got in there. I'm in the mid-20s, like 26 or 27, somewhere around there. And I got in with another one of our guildies. He's 70-something, and he invited me to his group and queued for a game. And so I was in with all 70s. And man, what a big experience difference, because the things that I normally do on my 20s level matches just didn't work. I was getting just wiped clean off the map within a few seconds. So not good. Mythic Plus in Legion, still doing some Mythic Pluses. And it's interesting because now I have a friend of mine said, hey, the more you see these, the easier they're going to be for you to progress. And sure enough, now I'm in the habit where I can, thank you so much. Now I'm at the point where I can 3-chest a +9 pretty much any given time, depending on the not the affixes, but the dungeon. A black rook hold, I can't stand it, but like an Eye of Ashara, I'll 3-chest that son of a bitch all day. What else? Witcher 3, we were talking about that earlier. I got that today. Steam sale's going on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I played about 20 minutes of it. It's really story heavy. Have you played that?
I've not played the third one. I played one in most. So I played some of one. I kind of got into two because like those games like are like the bane of my existence because of how hard they are. And I've cleared all the Dark Souls games like in challenges stuff like that. And it's just those games are brutal.
Yeah. Well, so far I put it on the second lowest setting, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go all the way on the lowest. So far, I've gotten my ass handed to me a couple times, depending on the size of the map. Excuse me, my goodness. And then lastly, today we did, it's Christmas. Today we did our Winter Veil Secret Santa, and that's one of the things. I mentioned recruiting earlier, but seriously, this is one of the things I love about Ludicrous Speed. So we're not just killing bosses. We're not just doing our version of progression. It's things like Secret Santa that we do every single year, where we draw a name, we meet, Buy the Christmas tree or the Wintervale tree in Orgrimmar, or if we can't do it then, we send it early and we share things and we post the pictures of things we got. And it's really nice to be able to do those kind of things, and you see, um, you see what everybody's got, and you're pretty happy. And then our rogue Osk, creator of some of the worst jokes ever. I love him though. I love him for it, man. I wouldn't have it any other way. But he's got the worst jokes in the history of mankind.
Some of his jokes, oh my god! Like he'll tell a joke and it only makes sense in French, and he and one other person speaks French in the guild, and like nobody gets it but those two. And even the guy who speaks French, like that was a terrible joke.
Who else speaks French?
Voronoi.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot. He speaks so little; it's hard to say. But he got me some great things, man. I mean, he hooked me up with a fat stack of gold. That was really nice. I couldn't believe I got that. Several battle pets. He knows I'm not a pet battler, so he mentioned in the little email or the mail that he sent me. He said, hey, maybe these will level up one day. And then he gave me a choice. So he sent me all 4 of the different color panthers. You know, the ruby, the blue, the yellow, the red. And he said, you can either keep these or you can give them back to me and let me make a black one. And so I thought about it, I'm like, man, the black one would be really cool, but in the case of mounts, I like quantity over quality, I guess. I'm like, let me just get more mounts. So I kept them all. But so he listens to the show when I posted. So Osk, again, thank you so much. That was a very kind gift of you. So without further ado, let's move into the news. Let's go backwards since you added some stuff at the end. What do you got for us, Gravy?
So big things that are happening right now is we've it's been shown up on an MMO Champion, a couple other places, that patch 7.1.5 is now pre-patching, like preloading on Battle.net launcher. So what are you? I'm thinking we probably see that patch not this coming reset, but next reset. What do you think?
I've been thinking that for a couple weeks now, and at first when you mentioned that in the show notes, you said something about potential patch dates. I'm thinking, it's too soon. But then I realized, well, wait a minute. January's not this reset, but the next reset. And yes, that makes sense. So we're thinking...
Nighthold drops on the 17th.
Yeah, so January 3rd, the patch is out. That gives people 2 weeks to adjust to any kind of changes that have been made to classes or whatnot. I'm kind of concerned about some things. I haven't seen a whole lot of notes out there on bears. But
they are not doing well, from what I hear.
Well, they're not me. Whoever's testing.
They're also getting a lot of nerfs.
Yeah.
Ranking wise, and tanks are like the bottom 2 from what I hear. But I'm not a bear druid, so.
They'll fix it. The bad thing about it is, man, they really screwed that up, man. I feel like they really messed that up. Because the whole... I hate the word class fantasy. I really do. Because I feel like as soon as somebody said the word class fantasy, as Legion was coming out, it just took off. And everybody's using it as either an excuse or a catalyst for everything that happens. But the whole idea behind the bear druid, moving away from dodge, back forever, was that no, these guys are going to be just these big old meat shields that can just take a flat out beating and be healed more for it. And it just feels like they're going to nerf some of that. They've already nerfed our mastery once, where we don't get as big heals as we used to get. So what happened to the class fantasy? I mean, I'm not looking for an answer there. It's just, this is what the class fantasy was. You used the term, not you, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, Blizzard did, yeah.
Yeah, you used the term. You said this is what we wanted to do. It's doing that. And now, no, it's doing it too well.
Doing it too well, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'll always adjust. It's not like I'm going to switch tanks. I don't think, anyway. I got too much invested in my druid. Anything coming up for you?
So in terms of warrior, like I used to be a fury warrior almost exclusively last expansion. But the RNG for it was so frustrating that it kind of off-put me from the class or maybe jaded against the spec for a very long time. So I've been playing arms all expansion, which has been really, really strong. And apparently Blizzard likes where we are, because the only change we're getting is we're getting some slight nerfs to our best in slot legendaries that are still going to be best in slot. And they are changing charge to be, instead of having a 1 second root on whatever you charge, you slow the target by 50% for 6 seconds, which is a pretty significant buff.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I mean, we're in a good spot, and they haven't nerfed our class into the ground. So.
Huh. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how you do. I mean, it's funny.
I mean, I will continue to stomp noobs into the ground and people who don't practice as much as I do. Because yeah, I don't know. That's what I enjoy doing. It's being at the top of the meters for me was a goal. Because you may remember, but last expansion, I started off in LS as the worst player in the guild.
I wouldn't say the worst player. I mean, we had what did we start off with? Yeah,
You're right. Tits on a Bull was the worst player. I was right above him.
Oh my goodness, I don't remember that guy. But
I do.
But no, hats off to you, because I do remember you coming in. I didn't know you prior to Warlords, and I do remember it's like, oh, he's average, But no, now you're a pretty standout warrior, and I like having you along to things. It gives me a little more confidence that we're going to get shit done. So anyway,
yeah,
that's all the niceties that you get.
Could explain why a couple people had a heart attack when the three of us said we were going to go raid with the Mythic Guild.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so.
I think that's part of it too. Is that they're like, well, maybe our runs aren't going to go so smoothly. But admittedly, we're still coming in. We're still raiding, and there's 2 nights a week that we don't get loot from either of our runs because we've already cleared the content so much earlier.
Sure.
You need to get that Shadow Priest level to really do.
It's tough though. It's tough to level it all and get it geared up ready for raids.
I hate alts. I despise playing alts.
Well, I don't mind mine. Mine's a Demon Hunter. As a matter of fact, I should look and see what's going on with the changes to that, because I've been taking some low-level Mythic Pluses with that one. He's 859 item level. He doesn't have all 3 gold dragons yet on his artifact, so I've been in up to a +6 on him. And while sometimes he feels squishy, man, that self-healing is just spot on, and he's really strong AOE. It's just extremely strong AOE. Well, so is my bear, but anyway, I want to get spiraled off onto that, not feeling good for anything. Last little bit of news: Warcraft mount and pet sale. Everything's half off right now, which is really nice. So if you were thinking about a couple that are in there, get them now while they're half off, and yeah, enjoy. So speaking of, what were we talking about earlier? Oh, you were talking about being, telling people about moving the orbs back, whatnot. That's all part of preparedness. And tonight's topic is preparedness. And I didn't put a whole lot of notes in here. I thought we would just kind of go by the seat of our pants. It's only episode 8, so I figure, yeah, I'm not going to lose many listeners, however many I have with it. So we'll just talk. So we're getting ready to start a new year. Next week will be January 1st, and I'll have the episode then. But what do you do to prepare for the new year? It's the same thing that you do to prepare for anything. My career field being what it is, I've had 1 day off this week, so I wasn't able to prepare a whole lot, and that also made me think a little bit about it. It's like, shit, my show's not going to turn out as good as it could, because I don't have enough stuff to back up what I'm saying. It's all going to be off the top of my head, which is okay for some scenarios. Also, my career field being sales driven and leadership driven, sometimes those things do have to come up out of nowhere. So what do you think about prepared? Talk to me about real life preparedness. Like, how do you apply that in your regular life, not your gaming life? We'll tie that in later.
Of course. So a little background for people. I'm in a very, I would say, a very similar field to you, Mike. I'm a trainer at a call center, so I train the Verizon Wireless campaign at the call center where I work, and so a lot of that is preparing my classes for what they're going to expect on the floor. So it's not just learning like the proper way to do things and making sure that you know what to do, but also understanding that like how to react to situations, how to bring the proper materials you need in order to do well. For example, if someone walks in or even bring the right attitude, let's put it like that. So, so say, for example, say someone walks in having a bad day, that for sure can end up in their chats, and it spreads to everyone in the room, which brings everyone's overall customer satisfaction rating down, because it seeps into their chats, it seeps into the customers. It's overall just not good.
Sure.
And so it really comes down to, for me, preparing for a class and making sure I have all the necessary job aids and materials that I'm going to need to teach that class there for them, as well as making sure the agents themselves are prepared with the knowledge they're going to need in order to sell phone, to sell sell accessories to provide a 5-star quality customer service experience.
Sure, that makes sense, man. That attitude thing, that's such a big part of it. You know, we've all had some mentors in our lives. By the way, I've not been recording this whole time, so this is going to be awful for the audio feed. I'm going to have to pull audio from the video and upload it that
Rest in
way.
peace, audio guys. We're sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. Normally I pride myself on audio, but I forgot to hit the record button. Anyway, one of my very first mentors after I got out of the Marines, so one of my first civilian jobs, he used a tagline on his email address. You know, we're talking years ago, and I still think of it every now and then. It says, "Attitude is a choice. Choose wisely." And so a lot of times, you know, I get pretty frustrated. I'm a manager of a retail store. I've said that in the past, and I have 21 people who work for me. So sometimes it's like kids, man. I have 21 voices. Mike, 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 and it's like, oh my God, if you don't shut the front door, I'm going to lose my shit. You know, and I get a bad attitude sometimes. When I start to feel it coming on, sometimes I think about that little saying. So preparing yourself with the attitude, that sets you up. That's the foundational tool that you have to have going into anything. You know, I look at it being prepared. You know, we talked about the show notes, talking about the job. Let me tell you a story that happened over the last month. I'm down about a head count and a half at work. So I'm hiring 2 part-timers, and I got one of them on board. And the second one, when we got a start date settled on, I told her, okay, let's figure out, let's come in on the 12th, 10 a.m. And she said, okay, that sounds perfect. Can't wait. And I'm hiring her for a 29-hour a week position. And she rolls in there at 10 a.m. wearing just ratty jeans, flip-flops, and, you know, like a fairly revealing top. And I'm like, okay, well. And she came in 10 minutes late, and then she said, hey, I was just wondering if I could work less than 20 hours instead. And I'm thinking, what? So, I mean, you interviewed for this position knowing what it was. And, you know, you came in late on the start time. So she left a bad impression right away. I ended up just telling her, no, this is a 29-hour position. You know, this isn't what you want to do. If you want to work less than 20, then we're going to go ahead and part ways here. So she wasn't prepared for the position that she applied for, that she interviewed for. So I wasn't prepared to, you know, extend the employment relationship any further than what it was. It looked bad for her, because now if anybody's ever asked me, hey, how'd that girl work out for you? You know, it's like, this is my experience, you know, and that's gonna tarnish somebody's reputation, you know, whether she talks bad about me, talks bad about, or I can't talk bad about her for HR policies, but you know,
Yeah.
You ever had some stuff like that happen in your?
Oh yeah, in my latest class, I lost someone day one because they had things that came up that were, I will say, they're important things. I'll agree with them, but the job was important too. And if you can't be there for training, then we can part ways. Yeah,
and that even comes back to, I got it in the notes here, and folks who are listening or watching later, I apologize for the unorganized nature of this one, but we said it was going to be laid back. It's Christmas Day. We're just going to we're just winging it, but.
Just sit here and stroke my beard.
Yeah, but you didn't oil it. We know that from earlier.
I did not oil my beard, and it's bothering me so much. I'm getting a bunch of pulls. It's not great.
But so you talk the interview piece of it, though. I did want to. So I want to go backwards. The interview piece. So let's say you're looking for that job. You're looking to get something. And I'm speaking from the experience of a hiring manager, not just somebody looking for jobs, right? The most intriguing people, the ones that are going to make me take a second look, because I hire salespeople, so I get just dozens of salespeople apps all day long, and they all they have the same answers a lot of the time, because we kind of train ourselves. This is how people want to hear it. They don't bring a whole lot different to the table, but the ones that do really stand out to me, they'll ask questions that are specific to my store or specific to the company that are different than what the sales thinks, and that's like, oh, this guy or this girl came prepared. They looked up the CEO. They looked up the stock prices. They looked up technology that we're researching and developing and saying, hey, how's this working out? And, you know, I read in the news that this is going on. That speaks volumes that you're paying attention as somebody who's looking for a potential career change. You know, those little things. A list of questions to come into the employer. I'm talking the whole time, asking questions. They're answering. At the end, if I say, "Do you have anything for me?" and they're like, "Nope, you've covered it," that's boring. That's dull. There's nothing that you're not going to stand out to me, most likely. But if you say, "Hey, yeah, these are some concerns that I have, or these are some questions before I want to go further in a relationship with you," it's like, okay, this person's invested in the decision that we are potentially about to make together. I mean, I don't know. What's your experience in this?
Not as much in the actual being the one doing the hiring portion. As a trainer, that's not so much my job.
Sure.
My boss, my boss's boss, my boss's boss's boss, they all do that.
Yeah.
I'm more involved in the retention, keeping people around, trying to work with people. If it comes down to letting people go, which is my least favorite part of the job, as much
Sure.
as people would like to say otherwise. But from the side of someone who is interviewing for a position, I can say that you generally get a much better reaction from your people who are interviewing you by asking your own questions, by coming in prepared, by having done your research. In the case of my job, like if say I was interviewing for, we'll say I was interviewing to be an agent on this campaign that I train, like coming in asking questions not only about the campaign that is for, not just Verizon and Verizon Wireless, and asking questions about that if we happen to know about it, but asking questions about, okay, well, what kind of things does eTech do as a company, like, or not less of that. That's a little more. You should know that by now. Or what kind of I saw this article you guys put out on inbound tactics and stuff like that, and ways to improve inbound campaigns. How did you guys come up with these metrics or with these methods? Things like that really help drive it home, and you can tell that these people apart from other people in a class almost on day one, because they're very attentive, they're very, very ready to go, and overall, they're you can tell they really want to be there, and it's their decision to be there, and less of this is mommy and daddy saying, "Oh, you need to get a job."
Yeah, and those people are going to be more engaging, and the engaged people. But depends. I mean, that's a balancing act, because you've got folks who are engaging, which help. You're going to spot that person, and you're going to say, this one's going to be good for you, either on the chats or phones. And for me, it's like, this person's going to be good with the customer face-to-face. But then there are also the ones who are engaging, but then they're also the ones who can't stop talking. They're always the ones talking, asking the questions. Definitely. And answering the questions. And those folks, maybe you've heard the term EQ. Are you familiar with EQ?
Can't say that I have. I probably have, like, not as an abbreviation.
You may have heard of it. So IQ is regular intelligence. EQ is emotional intelligence. And
yes.
And basically, you need to be able to take verbal and nonverbal feedback from the person you're talking to realize, to balance. Okay, where do I need to go from here? How do I need to approach this? Do I need to continue down this path that I'm on? The folks that have the highest EQ, at least that you can sense, those are the ones who are generally going to be the best in these kinds of positions. Exactly. I don't know how you sharpen your EQ skills. A lot of that is inherent, but the more practice you get with it in these environments, the better you're going to be.
For sure.
And it's the same, it's similar, and, now we're going to tie it back into gaming, I think. So I think it's similar when you approach a raid team or a raid boss, the folks who, hey, let's say we didn't make any changes. We went in and we said we're going to fight the boss this way. This is how we're going to do it. We kept wiping it the exact same percent every single time and didn't make a single change. It's like, well, there's, this is stupid. We're just doing the same shit over and over again. Or, excuse me, without naming any names, we know who the better raiders are on a team than others, because those are the folks who come prepared. They've got better players tend to make better choices. So just having flasks and pots and food and maybe augment runes, that doesn't make you the best player. But chances are, if you have those things, you are one of the better players. And that's all part of raid preparedness. Or
very true.
I'll post something on the Facebook group about here's some strategies that we're going to look at during this fight, to try to open it up to conversation. And it's generally only one or two other people that are going to respond to that. And I don't need the feedback, necessarily, but it does make me wonder, are people even reading this? Are they looking at the strategies, or are they just waiting till we get in raid? And that in my opinion, I think it slows the team down. When you got close to 20 people trying to kill a boss, and only 3 of them have done any research on it, that's 17 people that are already on the wrong side of the bell curve there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what do you think about that? Am I way off base there?
I think you're pretty dead on. This actually ties back into that story I mentioned earlier about being prepared and coming without all of your required materials and things.
Yes.
So I'll go ahead and tell that now because I think it'll fit really well here. So we on Tuesday, Acropolis trialed. I believe it was 5 new players. There were some people who contacted our guildmaster Aduka about a guild merger, which would be fine because it's the right number of people we needed to finish our mythic group up with a lot of the classes we needed too, with some hunters, which are you would think we would be hunters for days, but we have none.
Yeah,
which is a little bit frustrating when you need them. We luckily have a couple people who have alts who are fairly well geared, but Aduka makes it very clear to them that we're going to be looking at parses on this run. We're going to be looking at, because it's just Emerald Nightmare Heroic, we're going to be looking at how they're performing, how they're doing for their item level, because some of them are under geared, but we don't mind that. We can get you geared up. Yeah. It depends on how well you're playing your class that we really care about. And you would expect that, okay, well, if you're told that you need to come ready to kick people's asses, you would bring the proper things. You would bring pots, you would bring flasks, you would bring food. And those consumables, for the most part, were not a problem. The problem came down to gems and enchants, of which there were practically none. So we're sitting there, we're kind of gauging these guys, we're inspecting them, seeing what their gear's like, and we start inspecting them, and there's a very common trend of, well, these guys don't have enchants. It's not like the neck enchant, which is generally more pricey. They don't even have the basic cheapo enchants. Yeah. And they're running cheap gems that may not even be the right stats for them, just whatever they can get their hands on. It was not good. And then on top of that, like most of them parsed below 50th percentile. And you could tell that they may come in, they may not know the fights as well. They may not know, and this is not overall, I'm saying, this is for their item level, they parse 50th percentile. Sure, yeah. And you could tell right away that these guys were not prepared and were not ready to be playing at a level that we need them to play at for Mythic.
So did that slow the run down at all, or did that alter? I mean, Heroic Emerald Nightmare at this point is kind of steamroll for a lot of players. And if you're listening and you haven't cleared that yet, it's not a dig on you, but for those of us who have been in Heroic since October, I mean, it's a different ball game. But did that slow you down at all, or cause any hiccups?
I would not say it slowed the rundown, because I don't think we really... Actually, we wiped on Cenarius once, but that was because we just didn't care. We were goofing around. We were making stupid mistakes. Thorns one-shot himself on the Thorns on the Wisp for the 9th fight in a row, which, by the way, is hilarious. Yeah. So our strat, we don't for that fight, we're not actually cleansing the Wisps, at least for the general heroic strat we're using. And so we bring him close to the boss, we zerg everything down. We cleave off it, healers just need to keep up. And Thorns has a bad habit of, he sees a bunch of enemies, he uses Furious Intragosa and one-shots himself with Thorns.
Oh my god, yeah, of course, because you've got Thorns on all of those things bouncing back to hit him on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. I call for bops from Kig because I nearly one-shot myself with all of my Mortal Strikes.
Not Colossus Smash?
Colossus Smash doesn't actually do that much damage. Oh. It's the Mortal Strike that follows up that does all the damage.
Okay. See, here, you just ruined my class fantasy for Warriors right now, because here I thought Colossus Smash was like this godsend. Well, like it sounds.
Well, I mean, it's super necessary. Like without it, you do fuck all for but you do very little damage. It's pretty bad without it, because it's right now it gives me about 100% additional damage to the target. Okay. And on top of that, it gives my Mortal Strike 30% additional crit chance, 30% additional damage. It makes it cost less rage. It's a huge damage boost being able to cast one and then cast Mortal Strike, and then getting a reset, being able to cast it again and cast Mortal Strike again. Yeah, it's just huge things, but it's not the heavy hitter itself.
Okay.
But
you ruined it for me. I want you to know you ruined my Christmas, Gravy. Thank you so much for that.
Sorry, dude. I didn't mean to ruin your Christmas.
My God, you could have waited till 2017. Let me start off the year wrong. Nah, anyway. Well, I'm glad you brought up gems and enchants too, because that's a pet peeve of mine. And at this point, look, I realize that gold may be tight for some folks. In neck enchants, for instance, they have gone down. They're not 12 grand anymore. They're about 5, 3, depending on the time of week that you're looking at.
On
But
Skull Crusher at the start of the expansion, I was selling them for 24K a pop, and I made a killing.
yeah, I bet you did. But currently, I've got a couple different necks that I play around with on different things. And yeah, I spent 5K a piece, and I have ways of getting gold. But man, imagine, I can see the rationale. I can see if I look at my character by itself and I say, okay, well, here's 400 stats to rings that I don't have. Here's, if I have, let's say I have just 2 sockets out there. Here's another, I don't know.
300 of a stat.
Yeah, here's another 300 of a stat that I don't have. Or I choose not to. Well, I'm not even going to look at consumables. So there's 700 worth of a stat. And you're thinking, well, that's not going to make that big of a difference. But you brought basically half a guild in there with you. And if they all were in the same scenario, look how many thousands of stats now that you're missing in your raid. And that, it's hurting your team. That's all you're doing with that. And what?
And for some classes, 700 stats is a lot. Like for me, that's nearly 5% mastery. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's huge. I moved around 600 or 700 the other week, and that gave me 3 or 4% difference in versatility, which I'm still playing with. I've mentioned before, I don't go strictly by guides. I use the guides as a baseline, but I like to play around with things to see where I'm going to fit in with trinkets and everything like that. So it does make a difference, especially in your early tiers of an expansion, because those stats are pretty valuable. You don't have a whole lot of everything yet, whereas at the end of the expansion, it's way different. So I guess really ultimately, what the whole thing with being prepared is, get your shit together. I mean, really,
definitely.
If it all comes down to nothing else at all, whether it's in your real life, with career, with school, with relationships, with or in the game, whether it's raiding or mythic pluses or balancing out the time you're going to spend in different games, just set aside some time. I talked about time management a little bit before. Get your shit together. That's all your teammates are asking for, and that's all you should be. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. Just hit me right now. Most of you, I'm sure, have been to some sort of school, college, whatever. I'm sure you've had group work. And I'm sure you've all been in those groups where either you've been the one that didn't participate, or worse yet, you're the only one participating, and all the other people in your group haven't been. They don't, and you just bitch about it the whole time because it's just a painful experience. Don't be that guy in the raid. Don't be the one that says, I made a joke to one of our healers. It's like, but the first place I heard the joke was talking about schoolwork. It's like, when I die, I'm going to invite the people back for my group project so they can let me down one last time in my grave. Yeah, that's the way it feels. Anyway, any final thoughts on the topic before we wrap things up?
I think overall it just comes down to making sure you're doing your best to help your team out. I mean, it really doesn't come down to even if you're not doing it for you, this is a group effort. And in a lot of things in life, it's a group effort. And if you're not willing to put in the time to help not just yourself but help the group as a whole succeed, do you really need to be there? And I'll finish this up with saying that, lo and behold, after we finished Emerald Nightmare and we cleared the whole thing, Duca sat down with that group and said, "Hey, you guys aren't going to cut it," and they didn't make it. We didn't accept them into the guild.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to do that. That's exactly what you got to do. Well, shit, man. And I thought I was dumb, but it goes further, right? So let's look at that 1% wipe on Helya, right? Did we
21 million health?
Yeah, was it 21 million?
Yeah, I had 21 million with Acropolis and 23 million with Ludicrous Speed, or maybe it's the other way around. It was about the same amount of health at both sides.
Yeah, I got you. So let's say, so you're recruiting, we're recruiting. How much more street cred do you have when you're not one of the millions or thousands of guilds out there that are 9 of 10 heroic? I mean, yeah, we're not doing mythic, but just to have that one extra boss makes us a lot more attractive. It makes, hey, we've done all 10 heroic versus we're 9 of 10, just like every other guild you've looked at today. So, and if you're one of those people in the raid who realize we need some more people in here, because we are pugging a couple folks here and there, and that's the first time we've ever had to do that, to my knowledge, as a guild, and it's usually healers. But it'd be a lot easier to recruit if we had that benchmark there, that credibility, and you can help get recruiting efforts done by doing your part to make sure that we're down on the bosses by being prepared. It steamrolls. That's how the teamwork piece goes into play.
Exactly, and I know when Thorns was looking at guilds, because he was one of the big people who, when we were looking for another guild to move to do Mythic, he was out there looking for, well, what are these guilds? How are these guilds performing? What are the ones we're looking at? We ended up settling on one with he had a bunch of friends in. And we were liking it quite a lot. But we were looking at parses, and when you go into this, and you see that like half the guild is in the purple range and is between like 75 and 90, and then you see the people like where we come in, we're between 90 and 100 on most pulls, and it really does a lot. It shows a lot of skill compared to, we'll say, some of the guilds I've been in the past. Like when I first got into guilds and stuff like that, I was in a guild called the Glitch Mob, which I will straight up say was a cesspool guild over on Bone Chewer.
Okay.
And the Glitch Mob was, you would look at the parses, and I didn't do it too often, but I would look at stuff, maybe see if I could improve, because I didn't really raid with them. But you'd have like guys who were in like the really, really low range, just not pulling their weight, and then you have a couple guys who were like really, really good and were just carrying the groups, but it made them a lot less desirable of a place to be than seeing like LS, where everyone is at a pretty decent range, especially since considering how much improvement some of the people who are on the lower end have done.
Sure.
And then in Acropolis, where you come in and everyone's doing well, and people who aren't doing well, like, well, we know you're better at this class, so we're going to move you from your Shadow Priest to your Ret Paladin, because we know you're going to parse between 99 and 100 every single time.
Right.
Like our Ret Paladin, like he was on a Shadow Priest and he got moved to Ret Paladin because he's been a Ret Paladin for a really long time. And for his item level on one of the heroic Emerald Nightmare fights, he parsed number 1.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah, see? There's some danger there, though, I think. And we're spiraling, and that's okay. There's some danger there because, well, to me, I would think, there's a reason why this guy went to Shadow Priest after playing Ret Paladin for so long. Does going back to Ret Paladin cause a burnout? You know, does he say, yeah, I'm parsing, but I'm not really getting the fulfillment that I wanted out of this?
I don't think so. I mean, in Vay's case, and I'll call his name out here, he went to Shadow Priest because he thought it'd be fun, but also because the guild needed ranged.
Yeah.
And so he moved to that, and his Ret Paladin was just as geared as his Shadow Priest was.
Okay.
If not more geared. Because he loves playing it so much. Yeah, he's been playing it. And he loves playing it. And I'm not saying he didn't when I say he parsed 100, or like a number 1 parse for his item level, that was not because he parsed at a super low item level. He parsed at like item level 868 at number 1. On Dragons of Nightmare, he pulled over 500k.
Nice.
It was pretty great. It was good to see.
I was hoping to get 500k on my bear. We'll see what happens on the nerves. I need a couple trinkets to make that happen.
A lot of it's cat form, at least on that fight, and on Ilganoth too.
No, I don't know, man. I was looking at that. There's not a whole lot of cat weaving going on out there. I tried that a few times, and the 600k parse that I looked at a couple weeks ago, not a single cat form was cast in that whole fight. It's all bear. I did 331 with shitty trinkets, so that's what I need. I need good trinkets, and I can get up there. Anyway, that spiraled. So that's the topic. There's my music. So, Graveon, where can people of the internet find you if you would like to be found?
Well, you can find me every once in a blue moon over at Twitch. We'll do Twitter first at Graveon. That's Graveon. Over on Twitter, you can also find me also once in a blue moon at twitch.tv/Graveon. I stream every once in a while, and I also you can find me showing up in other people's streams, such as yours and whatnot. Also, I frequent the Warrior Discord. So if you have questions about Arms Warriors, I'm in the Arms Discord probably more often than I'm actually working. Which is maybe I shouldn't be admitting that. I don't know.
Man, I wouldn't. No way.
No, I do my job. It's just there's some downtime where I spend a lot of time in the Discord.
No, I hear you. And seriously, if there's any Warriors out there that have questions and maybe some of the top names out there, maybe they're not approachable, or maybe you're afraid to talk to them or whatever. Even though he pronounces his name Graveon, it's wrong. It's Graveon. Gravy Train.
It is actually Graveon now because when I moved over to Illidan, some scrub-ass level 70 rogue had my name, so it actually is Graveon now.
Now, see, but yeah, it was influence, power, the Jedi mind trick there. But Gravy Train, he's a good resource for warriors. I've watched him grow over the last couple of years in his warrior. Not saying that he was bad before, but he certainly.
Oh, I was terrible.
Nah, I won't say terrible.
I was garbage.
Well, you said it, but you're in a lot different place now, and it's noticed and appreciated for the raid. So for me, you can find me at Cohumulone. That's COHUMULONE. Everybody always asks what that's from. Talk to me about it sometime. Not on here. I stream obviously here, and then Ludicrous Speed on Skull Crusher. We're actually Black Dragonflight, Gul'dan, Skull Crusher, Connected Realm. We're recruiting, like I said. So until next time, thank you so much for joining. We actually got further in the music this time.
No.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is Graveon signing out.
See you later, everybody. All right.
You know, I'm a little bit upset that I didn't do my my YouTube announcer voice.
Oh.
Well,